basically my mom migrated to America, or took us, migrated to America, and we lived there for many years, undocumented. I feel like that was happening at that around that time a lot with many families, not just like Mexican, but just like other countries too. So I definitely found like a lot of friendship in like the immigrant kind of community. But eventually, I became a tattooer, and then or met my husband and became a tattooer. And after many years of living there and kind of like having a really hard time being able to do normal things or things that I wanted to do, or I felt like how do you say impeded? Like I couldn't do a lot of things. It was like kind of a weird, like just kind of a weird existence in a weird way. So my family decided to kind of self-deport in a way, and we kind of started to go back. My brother first, then my mom, and then myself, and me and my husband moved to Oaxaca, where we opened a shop for a few years. And economy is kind of a really hard thing there because it's, there's not much economy going on, and tourism at the time wasn't really too much happening. So we ended up leaving there and moving to San Miguel de Allende, Guanajuato, where we live now. And we have built an art home, and we make art in Houston. Well, pretty much everything. For me, she's almost like an archetype. I feel like she's someone who broke like certain molds of roles and ways that a Mexican woman should be or act or express herself. So I feel like women who do that instantly leave like another map for us to follow by breaking these almost kind of limitations for themselves, therefore making like opening up different pathways for us to follow. I feel like my mom definitely, it follows from that path. Myself, like, so much about her inspires me, just from her art to the resilience to her always staying creative. Through the worst of times, it was like the creation was like the best form of expression, and I think there's a lot to learn from that. When you stay creative, it's easier to kind of overcome things a lot easier, and also like just the way she loved things, like the way she loved Mexico, the way she loved art, the way she loved like communism and the revolution, and her man, like the way she loved things that were sometimes imperfect, and that was okay, and it was like she wasn't afraid to love things, and they weren't necessarily, didn't have to be aesthetic, you know what I mean? They didn't have to be beautiful. They could be like messed up and broken, and and kind of like human. And she kind of reminds us that we can love things that are human. And she also reminds us to be forgiving. I think this world is so unforgiving, especially towards women. And I think she constantly kind of reminds us that we can love something without changing it, and without forcing it to be something that it's not, and accepting it with all its flaws and all its good and its bad, and kind of that's what's the beauty in it, I feel like she really found beauty and love in like everything pretty much in life, So for me, just so many things inspire me about her, but definitely just like the kind of woman that she was, that she created a whole different reality, for women like me to be able to kind of exist. Because she was like special, and she needs to be remembered, and because of the things that I said before, where she broke molds and made a new map. And if we don't have these stories to read, we don't have women to relate to who have existed since, Mesoamerican times. It's just like the stories are there, we just have to find them. And I think it's important to tell the stories of these women, because often in this world you kind of feel a little bit lost or unsupported or kind of lonely in certain paths, unless you're lucky enough to find like punk rock or, something that kind of helps you go against the grain and gives you that strength, which for me, I believe that if Frida existed in these times, you know what I mean, she would definitely would have been into punk rock, would be backing up, the whole Black Lives Matter movement right now, like everything, it's what she totally believed in. So I think telling the stories about her and remembering her is really important because I feel like Mexico didn't really give her much credit until the recent years because of the type of woman that she was, and I also feel like a lot of her art gets neglected, like from her journal. It's like there was a lot of expression and just like really creative art that she made that people rarely ever get to see. So there was just like a lot of layers of her that I think people have yet to discover sometimes. She was like just very like layered, like a human should be. And I think that's another reason why we should, tell her story, because she reminds us to be like strong and resilient and to kind of take those things that are like pain and hurt and bad things and kind of find the good in them, or try and flip them to make them like a power thing for us, like an intellectual kind of strength where we find a way to like rationalize pain.